Hello, folks, it's me again. Just thought I'd pop on and say hello. What are we going to discuss today? Well, that's good, isn't it? I thought let's keep it a bit light-hearted today, really, rather than get into the nitty-gritties of what's been happening. But we know what's been happening, don't we? We've still got Starmer as Prime Minister, who's... I don't know. I think he's trying to give Burnham a hard time, or trying to sabotage stuff for Burnham, isn't he? By all stretches of what seems to be going on. It's a bit like a spoilt schoolboy, isn't he, really? He's got the hump because people have told him to get on his bloody bike. But he's still there. He was there at question time today, wasn't he, at the House of Commons? But God, I can't. I'll be great when that man's gone. I can't stand the bugger. Gee whiz, he's got to be the most unpopular Prime Minister this country has ever seen. He's a complete ale. Absolutely, isn't he? But he's still there for now, and Burnham's there in the wings waiting to come in and on his chariot, not being voted there by anybody except 25,000 people in an obscure little town up north somewhere. So that gives him great authority, doesn't it? And so he's waiting there, and he gave a speech the other day, didn't he? Yes, Andy, you gave a speech, didn't you, mate? Yeah, you made all the right noises, didn't you? Yeah, everybody was cheering at you as well. I don't know if it was handpicked, that audience, Andy. Hey, you have to let us know, mate, because all that cheering. But as you certainly are popular with your own at the moment. I don't know if it's going to last for long. Still. So anyway, he gave his little speech. A lot to say. Like all the politicians do, don't they? They say they're going to do this, that, the other, and we have to judge them by what they do, not what they say, because half the time they tell lies, don't you? Oh, that was one thing that old Burnham came out with, wasn't it? He was saying that people in this country don't want a general election. They just want somebody to come in and get on with the job. Get on with the job. That's interesting, Mr. Burnham. Very interesting. Because I was looking at a YouGov poll and it was saying that 48% of people in this country want a general election, or don't think that he should carry on without a general election because of the circumstances and the way he's come into power. So 48% is quite a lot, really, isn't it? Especially when there's about 17% undecided. So really, he was telling a porky pie, wasn't he? So he's not even in the hot seat yet, and he's starting to tell lies. Now, I can't think, didn't we have a Prime Minister in recent times that used to tell a lot of lies? Oh, we did, didn't we? Yes, we did. Yeah, Dictator Starmer. My God, I don't know. I think he's going to change his name to Putin, isn't he? But, he used to lie through his teeth all the time. So, I don't know. Mr. Salem. Oh dear, look, I got that all mixed up then. I called Starman, that's good. Perhaps both of them are going to run the show at the same time. So, Mr. Burnham, you've told a big whopper of a lie already, haven't you? I wonder if that's the way you mean to carry on. Because it's only that you've got a bit more personality that makes you different from Starmer. Apart from that, mate, you're exactly the same. Exactly the same as Starmer, You just... You're going to cock it up, mate. It's too much for you. Too much. You won't cope. You'll end up being on that list of people you're talking about when you're talking to us about mental health. You're going to be in a right to an 8. But, don't know. It's like sending a toddler to senior school, isn't it? And expect them to keep up with the curriculum. Still, if you want a bright spark, somebody intelligent, there's always David Lammy, Mr. Mastermind, isn't there? Yeah, and Rachel Reeves. God, did you see her at question time in the Commons yesterday? So this afternoon, wasn't it? Yeah. God, she's looking old. She's got huge bags under her eyes, like handbags. My God, and she looks as miserable as sin. Absolutely. You'd think her cat died just before she came out this morning. Dear. They're a bunch of something else, aren't they? They really are a bunch of something else. But, that's about it, really. I just came on just to a bit of a light-hearted chat, because there's not a tremendous amount that goes on, but I think we'd have a lot of entertainment. If we look at things in a bit of a light way, I think we're in for a bit of an amusing time over the next few months with dictator Burnham. Oh, I mean Prime Minister. No, dictator Burnham. He's not going to surprise anyone. That's the trouble. He's just going to carry on down that communist road, aren't they? But one thing I did want to mention was the business about far right, because that is interesting. They talk about far right this, far right that, and far right everything else. And it seems to me that if anybody hasn't got the views of a communist or a Marxist, if you're anywhere right of that, then you're far right, which is complete twaddle, of course. If you can imagine a long line and then a bit in the middle, like that, and on your right, to your extreme right, you've got far right fascists right on the end. And when we talk about far right fascists, what they really are is people like Adolf Hitler in the 30s, and Mussolini and people like that. They're far right fascists, yeah. So there you are. There's your far right. Now, if you look to the other extreme on the left, you've got communists and Marxists. Now, isn't it interesting that the people that are in power at the moment, and a lot of supporters of the Communist Labour Party we got in at the moment, are actually Marxists and communists. They're left-wing extremists. They're the real far left, the real extremists. Now, if you look at the middle band, anybody that's in the middle there would be middle of the road, wouldn't they? Between socialism on the left and capitalism on the right, extreme capitalism. And then you've got a lot in the middle. Now, really, at the end of the day, you've got the Conservative Party, which is right of the centre. Now, right of the centre speaks for itself, doesn't it? It's not far right, it's right of centre. And then a little bit more right to that, you've got Reform UK, and then you've got the other ones. And that's a little bit more right than the Conservatives. But that's not far right or fascist. It's nowhere near it. It's a load of bullshit. And then what you have got, I'm sure there is a minority of people in this country that are sort of like National Front used to be and stuff like that, which is really almost, it's getting on to being really far right. But not far right, if you like. So that's the reality of it. So most of us in this country that actually are on the right are nowhere near the so-called far right and the fascists. They're just words that are thrown around to shut you up and to put you down and to stop you talking, because they don't want freedom of speech. They don't want you saying out of turn. And what these people on the left, now I'm not suggesting everybody that votes Labour is far left. I'm not suggesting that at all, because that's exactly where the government and the far left are going wrong purposely. I'm making a big scene about the far right. So what you got on the left then, you've got a lot of people that are members of the Labour Party that vote Labour, and you've got them on the left, and quite reasonably on the left, not far left. But then further on, the people that are making all the noise, the people that are calling people racists, calling them far right, calling them fascists, they're the people that are actually the extremists on the left. The Antifas as well, those sorts of people, all that lot, if you like. They are the extremists. You look at who causes trouble in the street. It's not people that are right of centre. They're just not causing trouble. And if you look, it comes from the left. Something recently, the Pink Ladies were going to have a demonstration in Newham next week, and they've had to cancel that because the police advised them that it'd be too dangerous for them to do it, because the left, I don't know if Antifa are involved, but definitely on the left, socialist workers, people like that, are actually, well, I suppose they must be physically making physical threats, because there's a high security risk, the Pink Ladies were told. So the Pink Ladies, because they're there to represent the safety of women and girls, particularly. That is their main function. Cancelled that because they didn't want to put their members at risk. Now, that is very sensible. But you never ever see the Pink Ladies cause any physical trouble whatsoever, never. And certainly on all the other demos and that sort of thing that happen from people that are on the right of centre. I like to stress, right of centre. We're not talking fascists here. We're talking right of centre. There's very little trouble. Maybe somebody wants to drink, stuff like that. Not much at all. And if you actually do look at it, most of the trouble comes from the people on the minority on the left, that are far left, communists and Marxists. You look, why do they cover their faces? This is something this country has to get to grips with. It should not be legal for people to cover their face when they're out in public having a demonstration. If you're out in public having a demonstration, you need to own up to what you're proposing and representing. Like if I'm going out there in support, say, of Jewish people, because they're getting a lot of problems in this country at the moment, as we all know. Now, if I go out to do that, I'm proud to go out and do that, and I'm proud to give my point of view on that and show my face in support of Jewish people in this country. I wouldn't dream, why do I cover my face? It's our responsibility to own up to, what we're supporting, not hide away. Now, why would you cover your face? The only two reasons I can think of covering your face is because you're frightened of getting the sack when you go into work, because you're seen on social media as doing something violent, or that you intend doing something violent and you don't want the police to recognise you. And it really is time that it was outlawed for people to wear face coverings at all in public, in my view. Certainly not if you're on a demonstration. And the demonstration should be stopped, bang, wallet. If people are wearing face coverings, they shouldn't be allowed. If you haven't got the balls to stand up and show yourself for standing up in what you believe in, if you've got to hide behind a mask, how pathetic. Anyway, that's my rant for today. I'll catch up with you later in the week. Take care. Bye now.